Hey Libra, it's Empress Rose. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so we take what works, we leave what doesn't, as with everything, and even with personal readings, you using your own discernment. We've got a collaborative, intuitive process going on here. I'm reading the cards the best I know how, and you're, sifting and sorting through. It's a very natural process. You're sharpening your intuition as you watch this. It's like, how you read books. Well, how you read books, and then you read them again like 5 or 10 years later, and you have totally take away something totally different. That's your brain, your intuition, sifting through what you need to know now, and what's helpful for you to know now, and that kind of thing. So same process here. And then so we're going to start off with the mystical oracle, mystical moments for an intuitive vibe, and then we're going to move on to a brand new tarot deck. That I'm very excited to work with, but also a little nervous because it's very different than anything I've ever had before. And one more thing I want to tell you, my channel's been going for a year. And I actually hit my subscriber count that I was my dream and thought would be really amazing to hit at 1 year. So that was pretty cool. Actually, I hit it within just one over. It's like, wow, if I knew the universe was going to be that specific. So anyway, 1 year, happy birthday to the channel. So, all right, what do we have here? Oh, okay, we have some private, lots of, oh my gosh, very private reading. I feel like I'm peeking in on something I should not be seeing here. We have Butterfly Garden. You've changed in some way, and you're sort of fascinated by this change. Your mind has changed about something. You're different. You're definitely different than you were a year ago. So you've changed something, and something surprising has grown up within you and has grown and developed in you. It's something in your heart that's shifted and changed, and it's really caught your attention. And there's some sort of, something within is catching your eye here. And then we have White Rose of Hope. Again, this is a very private card. This is some sort of hope that you hold close to you, that you dream of. In none of these are you talking about anything, sharing anything. This is very solo journey here, very internal, private journey we have going on here that we're talking about. White Rose, it feels weird to talk about it. I feel like we should just be feeling this privately by ourselves. White Rose of Hope, there's some sort of dream, some sort of hope that you have, treasured hope. You hold it close to your heart. It's heart of your heart. It's part of who you are. Look at both of these have flowers, some sort of flower as part of our heart, part of what is within us. Very private here. So we have these private hopes, these private dreams, these private thoughts and ways that we've changed and grown, and we hold them very close to us. They're parts of ourselves that we do not share. And then we have treasured memories. Another, again, something being held close. This is a memory of a time where maybe things were wilder, maybe things were it's treasured, right? So we hold on to these memories for really important reasons. They're not, people are always saying, let go of the past. And that's important in a lot of ways, right? Because we are facing this direction. We do need to move in this direction. But that past can hold important keys to who we are, important bits of information. It's not necessary to let go of all of it. And plus, there's these pleasant, gorgeous things that we want to hold on to. They remind us how beautiful life can be, even when it's difficult, and even when we're struggling for our lives. There are these moments of elation and beauty, these lighter moments that we hold on. And I feel like this is creating hope for you. This past, these treasured memories from the past create this sort of secret, private hope for you that you can have this elation again, these feelings again. And they remind us, the past can remind us that the beautiful things that have happened back there are capable of happening again. So so to remember that, and it looks like you're hoping for that. You're hoping for something, some sort of feeling or some sort of sensation of these treasured memories. You're hoping for them to come. You're hoping to revisit that, and yet you've changed in very important ways. I feel like this is such a private reading. I'm actually starting to feel like I'm blushing reading it. Like, oh gosh, I think I've just seen something I'm not supposed to see. All right, and then on to this fascinating deck. Let's see, by Mary Elizabeth Evans. Very abstract. All right, Libra, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's at issue? Your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. Okay. All right, let's see. I have the book in case I get lost with this deck. The book's right here. There's a little crutch here. So we have Four of Swords in our recent past. There's been a timeout, a pause, a rest. Well, things sort of get sorted. This card reminds me of our subconscious doing that sorting and shifting while we rest. As they always say, rest is preparation. Rest is part of preparing, part of getting ready for something. So there's been some sort of rest time here, some sort of pause, some sort of timeout. Where, you know, we've been able to see things more clearly, process things, integrate some things, and then plan for the future a little bit, figure out what our goals are, where we want to go in the future. So again, interesting because we have this treasured memories and this white rose of hope, and we have the past here, this little white fluffy thing. It's like the same thing. And the future here, hoping for the future, remembering the past. But in the meantime, in the middle of all that, we've come from a time of rest, recuperation, sorting, sifting, letting the subconscious maybe sort and sift some stuff out for us while we rest, setting new goals, recalibrating based on what experiences we've already had, recalibrating for the future. Just, yeah, a time of recalibration and adjustment. And getting processing where we've already been and setting new goals for the future. In our current situation, we have the Hierophant. So to me, this is, well, the Hierophant is tradition, is structure, institution. There's might be some sort of institution that you're working with right now. There's sort of a script here. It's old, it's ancient, and in some ways, sometimes these institutions and these scripts can obfuscate and occlude the original light and the original spark and the original intent of something. So, right, we have a justice system. Well, the justice system can be all sorts of unfair and unjust, but the core of that was this brilliant value and a desire for a better justice, to see justice happen. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't through that system. But we have sort of a rigid system, but yeah, at the core of it, there's this intent and there's a desire among all humans to see justice and to see some sort of fairness and some sort of balanced application of that. But sometimes these institutions can occlude the original passion. So there might also be like a script that's supposed to be followed here that you're dealing with. There's some sort of establishment, some sort of, there could be, some sort of establishment or institution here that you're having to navigate, you're having to deal with, some sort of structure that can sometimes threaten to destroy life, but is at its core, has some sort of intent there that's beautiful and life-giving. So there's sort of looking at the structure and ancient wisdom. You could be accessing the ancient wisdom that is within these old scrolls and this old script. There could be something to do with traditional, the way we do things. Oftentimes, like the traditions that we experience, like traditions at weddings and stuff like that, like where did that come from? And there's oftentimes like a core of creating community, developing community between the two families. There's something, there's reasons behind these traditions, and we don't necessarily have to adhere to them, but sometimes we can honor the intent behind the tradition without necessarily having to deal with something very traditional in the exact form it was handed down to us. So there could be, or you could be engaging with some sort of traditional institution willingly, happily, something very traditional, sort of in your current situation, which is interesting because we have this intimacy over here, and almost this Four of Swords is like that quiet Sunday afternoon intimacy of a nap going on, and then there seems to be this jarring sort of rigid institution that's making an attempt to contain some sort of spirit of intent. But it's an old rigid institution. Yeah, that's what you're dealing with right now in your current situation. But, or just accessing that ancient wisdom that's held within those traditions, traditional knowledge and traditional wisdom, maybe even looking to some sort of, a source book. All of the, religious books we can view as source books for our own journey, our own spiritual journeys, without necessarily adhering to the religion that they're based in. But so dealing with ancient knowledge that may have calcified into something else, but we're still mining it for its values, for its value and its worth and its original intent. Then we have Eight of Wands. We have this, our hopes and fears, and inner landscape is Eight of Wands, communication. We're really hoping for some movement, some communication, some movement here. Right? We've been in nap time for a while. Maybe we've digested what needed to be digested. We're dealing with some sort of traditional issue, or traditions, or a script, or some kind of ancient knowledge here. And then what we're craving though is this Eight of Wands, this movement, this directional communication, this purposeful communication. We're hoping to see that. We're hoping to experience movement, and maybe waking up from this nap and starting to move towards the new recalibrated goals, right? We have this white rose of hope. It could be a hope of communication, a hope of forward movement, a hope of some sort of momentum here. And then in what's at issue here, we have the Three of Cups. So this is a friendship vibe. It's at issue though, so it's reversed. So there's maybe a lack of friendship, a lack of mutual support, a lack of emotional support, a lack of connection. We don't have someone to share our exciting news with, or even our disappointing news. We're experiencing maybe a disconnect, an emotional disconnect right now. A friendship that's not happening, that's not blossoming. The Three of Cups to me is very much a friendship where we share our hopes, our fears, our accomplishments, what's blooming in our life, our ideas and inspiration, and we share that. But there's not sharing going on here, which no wonder you want this Eight of Wands to come in, because the Three of Cups is like a lack of connection, a lack of sharing. You kind of get confused with this Hierophant right in the middle of what's like an intimate moment here of, we have this white rose of hope. This is sort of a secret. And what's at issue is this kind of maybe even a secret, like not sharing, right? I was saying this is all so private, and maybe part of what the issue is that there's too much privacy. We're not sharing our private feelings. We want communication, but apparently we don't want too much communication. We don't want it to go too deep or touch a few things. But maybe we're longing to share some of these things, right? This is so private. We have this like a little triptych of private thoughts and feelings and memories that just aren't being shared. Oh my gosh, look, we have basically Three of Cups right here. We have the three things that could be shared: the memories, the hopes, and the ways that we've changed, and the things that inspire us. And that's basically, this is so private, and we're getting Three of Cups here, and these look like Three of Cups to me, the way they're very emotional and deeply connected and personal, but we're not sharing personal information right now. Apparently, but we're longing to, we want to. But it's just not happening right now. There's not a lot of personal sharing. It could be an institution, could be like work or something interfering with this, or some sort of like official legal situation that's prevented you. You know how sometimes those legal situations can demand that you zip your lips and you not share things. So it's interesting. And so then in your environment, you have the Knight of Swords. So knights are about communication and swords are about clarity. and clear thinking. So someone may be sharing an idea with you right now, communicating this communication that you're longing for. We may be communicating ideas, but we're not communicating this depth of emotion right here. We're not communicating our hopes, our treasured memories, and our and deeper part of ourselves that are changing and shifting. That's not being communicated. We're longing for that communication. What we're getting, though, are ideas. At least there's that. There's ideas. There's concepts. There's communicating clearly. So maybe, you know, this is happening in your environment. Somebody is starting to communicate more clearly. It's not very emotional, it's more intellectual, but there is like some communication coming in here. We've sort of straightened some things out. This Knight of Swords could be someone in your environment, someone you know. They're communicating very clearly now about ideas, about concepts, about thoughts that they're having. So thoughts have been communicated. Light is being shed on a situation. We're really thinking through things. A lot of growth has occurred in a person's thinking here. This person that is external to you, this other person. A lot of growth and change has occurred in what they're thinking, and they're communicating that. They're able to shine some light on some things here. You know, all this processing that went on in the past in this Four of Swords and nap time. Now we have the Knight of Swords. We woke up from the nap with a lot more clarity. We woke up from this pause. We came out, someone's coming out of this pause situation with a lot more clarity and an ability to communicate at least ideas, if not feelings and emotions. There's some ideas coming through here. Some suggestions. I like the Knight of Swords too, because we've got this Eight of Wands, this desire for movement and communication. We're not getting the emotional communication, but at least we're getting some kind of idea communication, some sort of clearer understanding, light being shed on something, understanding, yeah, and growth. There's been a lot of growing, developing new ideas. New ideas have been developed and they're going to be shared. In your current, your to-do list, the energy that you need to look for opportunities to work with, which I love this for our Libra here. We have the Empress energy. So we have this abundant new life energy, this being enough, this having enough. There's a sense of again, just an abundance of growth and and I love how the Empress has roses. Again, this Empress has these roses on it, which I really like, obviously. So there's a sense of abundance here and of power and strength, just a sense of having a really good foundation, working from an abundant energy, working from I wouldn't say hopeful even, but just a knowledge that you are enough. And I think it's important that we ask, like, what is enough? What are we enough of? Well, whatever the situation demands, you're bringing what you've got. There's not a demand that you be more, that you be better, that you be, we work on our personal growth as a matter of a spiritual practice or something, but we're not working on it because we have to be better. We should be something that we're not. This Empress is sitting back in some sort of, like in Pamela Colman Smith's depiction, we have the Empress sitting back on her throne in this power posture of, like, I don't need to prove anything. I don't need to do anything. I'm abundant as I am. So there's not a need to prove here. Again, this Empress rose, we have 3 roses, and I'm seeing the 3 roses in her hair, and I see this as this white rose of hope, some sort of memory that's hoping for a revamp in the future. So we have these 3 roses, and I'm seeing these as 3 flowers here again. So the Empress with the 3 roses, the 3 of Cups. So this could be you feeling secure enough to share your feelings, feeling secure enough to share what you have to share. Of course, you don't have to, because it's just enough. What is right now is plenty, and you are plenty. There's a sense of possibly a new chapter based on this growth that we've been through, being able to hear. With this, I get sort of not necessarily clairaudience, but some sort of being able to hear something, being strong enough, strong enough to hear something, to listen, deeply listen, and to write a new chapter with that information. There's a lot of love here. There's an abundance of love. This reminds me of, you know, just understanding how differently you can move through the world when you understand that you are already loved. You don't need it. You don't need love from this group. You don't need love from these people. I mean, we want to connect and connect with people for sure, right? But that not needing, not coming at something desperate, not coming at something needing it to be a certain way, or needing your life to be a certain way, but coming in with an abundance and with an understanding that you are enough as is today to handle whatever comes your way. So that's the energy you're interacting with, this you are enough. You are up to the tasks. You can handle whatever comes your way, sitting in your power and your own strong sense of security. We have the triangle here, which is the strongest sort of structural shape that there is. So there's a sense of strength and being able to grow from that sense of strength and self-confidence. So that's where you're staying at. That's the energy, you know, when you need that, accessing that sense of self-confidence. And being enough and being abundant in yourself. Those are buzzwords for concepts that have a lot of depth to them. So the buzzwords can get a little annoying for me because they're just touching on the surface of something that's actually like that can be a lot of work for a lot of us and can be quite a long journey. So those buzzwords can like encapsulate like a 5-year long spiritual journey that someone went through, and they end up with like encapsulating it in like, you are enough. And that's like, it took a lifetime to get to that phrase, right? So when I use those buzzwords, it's trying to access a concept that I've already spent quite a bit of time like describing. So, and then we have where we're going, where we're headed. We have the Lovers. Oh yes, of course, because we need to have this sense of empowerment and a sense of self-confidence in order to move towards that which brings us alive. And I love this lighthouse here, this sense of a guiding light, this sense of a light in darkness, in fog, and moving towards that. And of course, the lighthouse only shows up in dangerous territory, in places where it might be difficult to navigate, and we're navigating towards that light, towards our own inner light, towards, we each have this lighthouse that can guide us, this love, this thing that brings us alive and makes us reminds us as to why we're alive. And there's some sort of connection here, and there's some sort of thing that there's a love here, and it's heading towards that light. It will guide us through these difficult, dark moments where the Lover's card also talks about a choice. We can choose to do something more conventional. We can choose to play it safe, but that light, that love, that thing, it guides us through difficulties in life. Just having that guiding light of what brings me alive, what makes me feel good, what do I love, and am I willing to live a life that prioritizes what I love despite all these other obligations and issues. So it is, sort of, I'm hearing that song like a higher love. It is sort of elevating ourselves into, a better way of living, a better way of making choices and decisions and navigating the difficult things in life. So we have the Lovers coming towards us. We do have something that's going to bring us alive, and we need to have the self-confidence, this Empress self-confidence and sense of abundance in order to reach towards it and move towards that which brings us alive. So, the future is a lot isn't very scary when you realize that you can handle. When you're in this energy, the future is not scary. It's full of possibility and joy and love, because you can handle whatever is coming. So you don't need you have this inner light. That you have this intuition and this understanding, and you're reaching out for that which brings you alive. You're reaching and striving towards that and moving towards that, even though it may be difficult, and it will be. A treacherous journey, a difficult journey, we're still allowing that light to guide us through the difficulties of life, that light of love and what we love. All right, so Libra, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments, and I'll see you around.